CC ain't been feeling too good lately, so he asked me if I would do a video talking about like an happy childhood memory while drinking, whilst, I don't know what it is, whilst drinking a beer. I'll say whilst, I hope it is right. So, being as we're having a beer, let's have some pub ambience. What do you think? Some little bit of pub ambience. Here we are, in my old pub, the Henley Arms in North Woolwich. I say it's my pub, I was only a kid when I used to go in there with my parents sometimes, but let's say it's that pub for now because it's quite a nice pub. So we're gonna now open this bottle of beer. And of course, the minute I start recording, Leatherface is now outside cutting down trees with his chainsaw. But that's the way it goes, guys. Anyway, let's pour ourselves a nice beer. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I wouldn't make a very good barman, would I? It's got more head on it than Pornhub. Okay, but it'll do. I really love that bit in, I don't know if you've seen the bit in Django Unchained when they go in a bar and they just like go and pour the beer or pour the pint, whatever you want to do, and they like cut the head off with like this stick, and it's really cool. But anyway, guys, here we are. I can put a little bit more in it actually. I'll tell you what. Absolutely perfect. Okay, yeah, so anyway, guys, so I've got, Leatherface running around outside with a chainsaw, hacking everything off. There's nothing but noise, but hopefully, all the ambience will help. Cheers, CC. Right, let's get down to some funny childhood stories now. What I wanted to do was try and show you the actual places where all these things took place as well. So that's what I'm going to try and do with with some Google Maps if I can. Now, the first funny story was this one here. When I used to live in like North Woolwich, back in East London, and I used to go to this place. If you look here, where there's this road. This road, if you walk straight down, on the left side was these little row of shops just here on the left side, and I used to go in there. But what was funny was we all went there as kids, and just round the corner was this square, and you had this wall, and this wall was sort of the gardens or the backyards of the shops, and one of them was the back garden of the Chinese takeaway. It's quite an high wall as well, so me and my mates have climbed up this wall. The wall's about 6 foot, and we're just walking along it, balancing and walking along. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes this Chinese woman. Now, if I had to guess how old she was, I'd say she was somewhere between 80 and 100 years old. She was really old, right? And she's come out with this sack of potatoes. I've probably told you this before years ago, but I'm going to tell it again because it's the funniest thing. So she comes out with this sack of potatoes, and she, let me put this down, starts lobbing them, at us, and they're all hitting us. It didn't hurt, but I was in fits of laughter. I could not stop. I think about it now, and it makes me. She didn't come out and say get down, you little buggers, which is what they would normally do, in where I used to live. I used to climb up on the garages, and someone would say get off, and I'd say all right then, and they'd go like, don't you give me no lip, I know your dad. I'd go around and tell him, oh, sorry sir, get off. But yeah, so I'm still on the wall in this fit of hysterics, okay? I couldn't move because I was laughing so much. It was so funny. And she's pelting me with these potatoes. She's lobbing them at me. And they're hitting me, and they're like... And I'm sort of laughing. It was the funniest thing. I almost fell off the wall from laughing. Anyway, I quickly climbed down. And there's potatoes over the square where she was missing some of the time. Oh, guys, so funny. That was something. Oh, see, if you was there, you would have laughed. We didn't climb on the wall ever again after that. We didn't do it anymore. But another time, and actually I'm looking on here now, and I can see that it's the old park I used to go in. You see this, guys, this is the old park I used to go in. And I used to go in here, and in the summer they used to have barrels, and you could get in the barrels, and because there was a bit of a hill there, big hill, you could roll down the hill in the barrels. And if you go over to the right side, there was like this little fence, and you could see all the boats going by. And at the very end of the pathway there was a big, massive playground with a witch's hat and a pole. I can't remember what the pole's called. Swing round it, proper rope on a chain on this big pole, maypole. Used to go around and round, swing it round like Spider-Man, and a roundabout that used to go about 50 billion miles an hour, and you had to hang on literally, and your little legs were kicking out because of the gravity force, the G-force. It was fantastic, great days, massive big sand pit, a slide that was about 35 foot high, but they were the good days then, no one cared. Concrete at the bottom, you fell off, you get up, and get back up there. Swings, like you had little swings and big swings, and the big swings were big. It was great days. Oh, I'm getting a little tear coming to my eye then, just looking at that. Anyway, what we've got to do is go further is the Henley Arms pub. I say I'm in there now, I don't even know if it's still open. But we went in the Henley Arms pub. But that's not the story. The story is next to the Henley Arms pub, as you can see here, this is like the side entrance. You had two entrances. That entrance, and then there was an entrance at the front to the right. Now if you look here, this is a bit of green. These flats or apartment buildings I'll talk about later, because I have a very interesting story about that. This here, if you look, are garages. Okay, they're garages. Now I didn't have any of these trees, all these trees and that weren't there at the time, but these are garages or garages. And when we were kids, we would climb on top of the garages, yeah, and we would sit there and just be happy to be on top of them. And I'd say they were about 6 foot high, about 6 foot. But I got on these garages once with my mates, and as I've got on top, I see this plastic shopping bag. So I picks it up, and I'm thinking I could jump off of this garage, and the bag will work like a parachute, and I'll just land softly onto the ground. I mean, it was grass even then. It was still grass at the bottom, so that was alright. And I thought, that's what I can do. So my mates, well, not me mates, one of them who was a bit more intelligent than me, went, no, Jeff, he went, you're just gonna fall to the ground. He went, it won't work. I said, it will. I said, it will work. I said, it will go just like a parachute. He said, it won't work. I said, it will. I said, watch and learn. Watch and learn, I said. You know, that's what I said to him. So I gets the plastic bag and I run and go away and jump as high as I can off of the roof of the garage or garage and hold the bag up, and I fell like a stone. fell onto the grass. I hurt myself a little bit, but not much. But it was a little bit. But here's a funny story. This apartment building is very high. Okay, if you look here, what we used to do is, because they closed them down for a while and did all this work on them, and if you see here, we used to climb up this wall, and all of this part here was full of scaffolding. There was all scaffolding, so it was all poles everywhere. We used to go inside this particular apartment and all have a look around. It was all empty. It was really cool. But we used to just climb on the poles, and you could jump from one pole to another, like in gymnastics, with the parallel bars. It was a bit like that. We used to basically try and do that and hang upside down from them and swing around on them and everything else. It was brilliant. Great days. No tablets or phones. There weren't nothing. But that's how we entertained ourselves. But yeah, so we're doing that as well. But anyway, this is another story. So I go in there. It's a high building, alright. It's 18 floors. I'm sure it was 18 floors. It was a lot of floors. So I goes up to the top, and you could never get onto the roof because it was always locked. But I've gone up there this particular day with my mates, and the door's unlocked. So the door So I've sort of laid down over the top of the roof like this, looking down, and I see my dad's mate, who was called Bill. I go, Bill, because I'm all proud of myself sitting on top of this, or laying on top of it looking over. But I'm going, Bill, looking around, it's like, up here, I'm up here. So Bill finally looks up and sees me. I go, you right, Bill? And he's gone mental. He's gone, get down there. I've gone, quickly scuffled off, and gone down. And I thought, I hope he don't tell my parents, my mum and dad. So anyway, after that day, I went to go home. Not after that day, it was sort of midday. I went to go home to get something to eat. But as I've come back, I've gone to go through the back way. The back gate was open. And then you could, you had the kitchen. And I could see through the window. And I could see Bill going. And I thought, he's telling me mum and dad that I was on top of the block of flats. And I thought, oh no, I'm really in trouble now. So I didn't go in. I just walked back to my mate's house and stayed out as late as I possibly could. Anyway, I'm now really worried for the rest of the day. So, anyway, I thought I've got to go home. There's nothing I can do now. I've got to go. So, I've come home and I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to face the music, And there's me dad. I go, alright, Dad. He goes, yeah, you're right. I went, no, yeah, I'm alright, My mum see me mum, you're right, mum, yeah. You're right, mum, yeah. You're right, yeah. I went, Bill round here earlier. She went, yeah. I went, oh, okay. So, that was it. So he couldn't have told them. It looked like he was telling them, but he must have been telling them something else, because they didn't say a word about it, But so because of that, I went up in my bedroom and I was so happy I didn't get in trouble. But yeah, I can see why, stupid little child I was, hanging over there like that, but funny little stories nevertheless. Right, cheers guys, hang on. Right, guys, I've got to go now. I've got to go and stagger down to Aldi's or somewhere, wherever I'm going, I don't know. Driver's license is going to have to just, manoeuvre me now. Because, it's so good to see you all, guys. It's nice to have a beer. I might have another one actually tonight, I hope you enjoyed this CC, because we all know, especially me, I know I've been through, that as well. It's not a nice thing. And I even have little moments still now. But, try not to let it eat into you, Don't let it bother you too much if you can help it. I know that's easier said than done. But all the best to you, mate, and to everyone else that isn't feeling great right now, especially now that what's going on in the world is absolutely awful. But we all need to be happy. So let's all try and be happy, guys. You're all fantastic, okay? I will be back tomorrow, or very very soon anyway with another video.